Hi everyone, my name is Erin. I am a second year MBA student and I'm here to welcome you to GMAT Club's MBA applications walkthrough. It's a 6-week series covering application to top 25 MBA programs. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to stay updated and to get more information from us and organizing more events. I'll be your host today, and we are covering Emory Goizueta Business School. Together with me, Shruti P, Senior Admissions Consultant at GoLSB. Shruti has helped hundreds of people walking through their MBA applications. It's so great to have you here, Shruti. Please welcome aboard.
Hello, Erin. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, now I think we can jump in directly. Let's start.
Okay. So, brief introduction. I am Shruti, and thank you, Erin, for having me here today. And we'll be running through the Emory Gazetta, the application form. If you have any questions in the meantime, please do feel free to ask me. And to begin with the form, the program offers two MBA programs. This is the You will be using the same application form for both the MBA programs. That is the 1 year MBA application as well as the 2 year MBA application. And this form, this place is actually the form for. You'll also get the form for the test waiver application as well. So in case you are someone who's not planning to write the GMAT or the GRE and you want to apply for the test waiver, this is the same window where you will also have an option to apply for a test waiver. However, now we are running into the application form for the 2 year MBA program. It starts with a basic introduction and then a program selection. So, before you start with your application, you need to select your program. Over here, the school does offer you to apply to both the programs as a first choice and a second choice. And the 1 year full-time program, you will have two terms to okay, this has only one term. So you have the summer term to select for the 1 year MBA program out of this form itself. And if you have been a reapplicant, if you're going to be a reapplicant, that this is the place where you also make that selection. So you need to give in the details as to when you applied previously and whether you were also enrolled by the any other degree granting program at the Emory University. Again, you can also mention over here what other schools you are applying to. So this is the window which gets these basics covered. And the next window will take you to covering your personal details, which is about your address, phone numbers, about your identity, language preferences, the basics of the personal information. And next comes the educational journey. So for the educational journey, you need to add your degrees in terms of your bachelor's education. Bachelor's means undergraduate degrees. And if you have any master's or any postgraduate degrees as well, these can be entered here. So what you need to do to add any institution or any degree is to add, go to this button and over here you'll get the option to add the institution. Where is this institution located? And then the city, state, the dates that you have attended the program. You can also choose a level of study from high school, graduate to undergraduate. So you don't need to add any other scholastic information previous to your high school. So high school is where it starts. Start with your high school, undergraduate, and then graduate studies. And beyond this, you need to add a PDF scanned copy of your transcripts from the particular program. So this is about your, in terms of your educational journey. Another important information that you can share over here is that if you're coming from any previous interaction with an MBA preparation organization like the MLT or the Forte or the Access or any other institution, you can add that information over here. This is not a mandatory information, only if it is applicable in your case. This completes the educational requirements section. Whenever you are scanning your documents, it is always good to keep them in a single PDF file and make sure that the scan is very much readable. That really saves a lot of time for the AdCom. Okay, so the next section will require you to add the GMAT or the GRE or your valid test scores. And for this information, you need to select which test score you are going to apply to and sorry, apply with, and then select the test score, add that requirement over here. For the Indian applicants or for the international applicants who have their bachelor's degree with English as a medium of education, you do not need to write the TOEFL exam or the submit the English, proficiency test. But it is always good to first check out whether your university or your transcript mentions that very specifically. Only then this particular case will be applicable. So when you are adding a test score, you need to add the type of test that you are adding, uploading, and the test date. So if it is GMAT, you need to add a test date for the whenever you have written, it has to be a valid test score. Your GMAT and GRE scores are valid for 5 years. So make sure that the validity of the test score is intact when you are putting up your application. And for the GMAT score, then you have to add your total scores, the verbal, along with the percentiles, the quant score that you got along with the percentile, AWA, and integrated reasoning. So all of these sections have to be filled in for the GMAT. And similarly for the GRE, you will have the verbal, quantitative, and the analytical writing scores. So check the validity and add the scores here. At the same time, the school code is also mentioned. So make sure that you are also taking a note of sending this code to the school directly from the ETS or the GMAT website. Okay. The next section of this application form, it involves adding your personal professional journey. Professional journey means your employments and your internships if you want to add any. So this over here you can include your internships and you can include the full-time work experience that you have. You need to also add the months of internship experience and the months of work experience also if you are a sponsored applicant. So if you have a full sponsorship, a partial sponsorship, or you're taking a time off, you need to take a note over here from your current employment if it is applicable. Add a resume and share your LinkedIn public profile URL. So LinkedIn is a very important part, apart from your working on your essays, working on your resume. It is also important that when you're putting up an international application, you should also be working on your LinkedIn profile and make sure that it is in sync with what you want to communicate. At the same time, when you're optimizing your LinkedIn profile, also see that it also communicates your focus areas. So if you're a finance professional, it is a very good idea to have your newsletter on LinkedIn, to be posting regularly, to be updated and sharing what all things you are passionate about on the topic. It is a professional network and it's a great place to share your ideas on the professional front. So use it optimally, months before you start your application process. Okay, when you're adding your employment details, you need to add the employer company, the country, city, state, add the details of your employers, and then add the details of your employment duration, starting from to, and also the growth and the let's say the trajectory that you have had in your career so far. So you need to add a starting title and ending title, your compensation similarly, and add the description. In case there is a job change post, that add a reason for leaving. It's always good to have a very crisp reason for leaving, and it gives a very clear message as to what your personal professional motivations are. So you can add all your professional employments over here, and in the description part, it is good to add about your work experience, the kind of roles and responsibilities you have handled, along with certain achievements that you would like to mention. Okay. In case you have any connections with the Goizueta, the university, the business school, or the Emory University, it's something that you can mention over here. So, do you have a family member who's a graduate from either of these schools? You can mention that, and also mention about your spouse if applicable. Talk about your marital status in this particular section. The school does want to know about it. They do want to see whether they will be how they will be a part of the community in the business school. So that's some information that you can share. In terms of life journey, This section asks you to fill extracurricular activities, your awards and activities like your any other awards that you've got. We'll just come to the categories which qualify here, and your professional certifications plus international experience. So let's start with the activities. What kind of activities go in this particular section? You can add activities pertaining to the community service, any military service that you have had, your professional or undergraduate level activities. So any extracurricular activities like clubs or events that you have been a part of, or any volunteering activities that you have taken up, all of these can come in this particular section. If you have been awarded for any of these, if you have a specific recognition for this, you can add up to 8 recognitions in this particular section. Again, there are four categories of adding this information: community service, military, your professional, or undergraduate. So qualify as to where this particular award stands and give the details. The name of the award needs to go here and the award date received. So this is the information that you have to share for the award section. If you are a CPA or equivalent, if you have a CFA or equivalent, you can mention that over here. In case you are a chartered accountant, let's say for Indians, this is a valid certification, a valid professional certification. That is something that you can mention here as well. Add international experience. So international experience also comes in 3 categories. You can add it as an academic experience. So if it is an international exchange program or some volunteering, some program that you had gone in for during your academic pursuits, you can add that. A professional engagement, a short term or a long term, that can also come in over here, or a volunteering engagement. So if you've had international experience in terms of being a volunteer with an organization, this is the place where you add that particular information. Choose the clubs that you want to be a part of at Goizueta. So there is a huge list to choose from. See that it is in sync with what your career goals are and how it will help you. And feel free to choose from this particular section here. Okay. Next comes the recommendation. So for the application form, the process, you need 2 letters of recommendation. What you need to do in this part of the application is to add your recommenders details. They will receive an email from the school, and that is where they will answer those questions for you. One question that comes up in the recommendations is, who should your recommender be? Who should you take as your recommender? So a very direct choice of taking up a recommender is someone who can talk about your work experience, your interactions, and your professional competence, your teamwork, your capabilities as a professional. And this can be your direct manager. This is the first choice, and the preferred choice. Your supervisor, somebody who you are reporting to. Apart from that, the second recommender can be a senior colleague. For entrepreneurs, it can be a partner, or it can be an investor, it can be a client. For entrepreneurs, they should avoid taking letters of recommendations from vendors, because the relationship is slightly different when they are vendors. So it is good to be, good to take it from people who are your clients, who are your partners, or maybe your investors or bankers. In case of entrepreneurs, in case of freelancers, they can take up the letter of recommendation from the clients themselves. So that will be a good relationship, where they have had visibility of your work, and they would be able to also discuss about your professional competence as well as your skill sets. So once you send your this add your detail to about your recommender in this particular section, you just need to mention whether you waive off your rights or you do not waive off. Waiving is always a good idea. It always shows that you trust your recommender. So waive off this, if possible, do that, and then add your name in the signature part and send to recommender. Means that this will shoot out an email to your recommender, which will ask them for filling up certain questions about your competence as an applicant to the program. Right. So this brings us to almost 60% of the completion, and now comes the more typical part, some things which you have been preparing for. First is the essays. So The application form will require you to fill two mandatory essays and one optional essay. The word limit for the essays is 200 words. So you need to be very, very precise and very clear with what you want to put across. And as you can see, the question itself has so many parts that addressing those in 200 words will be impressive. You can do it impressively only if you are very clear with what you want to put across. So put in the uh, introspection, put in the homework, put in the research, and make sure that you are able to put it across, communicate it in a very precise and a concise manner in this particular part of the application. So you need to attach the essays here, choose a file, convert it to a PDF file, and upload it in this particular section. Another part of the application is the video essay. So the video essay is a functionality which there are two types of video essay functionalities for application forms. One is that you are taken to an external portal, that is something like a Kira interface. Another is when you are recording your video within this interface itself. So in this particular application, for the Emory Goizueta application, you need to record the video from this within this screen itself. You will have three attempts and you will have a trial attempt as well. So you will get a question, you need to answer that while the recording is going on, and that recording will remain over here, so you can check and you can see that whether your attempt has been up to the mark and you are satisfied with it. Otherwise you can always overwrite it up to three times at a at max. So this will remain recorded over here. So by the time you are finally submitting your application, you will actually see your response here. So make sure that you are able to see that and there's no technical error that has happened. So this is the video essay requirement. For the video essay, it is always good, to be able to put your answers up in a very concise manner. So whatever is the question, the main preparation that you require is that you have researched the program well, you have introspected your journey well, so that you can take up the behavioral or the situation based questions as well as the program based questions at a similar level. You need to respond in 60 seconds. It is always good to take up the complete time that is allotted to you, so that you have the full recording in place and have the complete response. Practice so that you are able to address it impromptu. So coming up with the points, the right points, might you will not get a second chance. So you need to practice before you get into this. Just practice some behavioral questions and you'll get into the flow.
Shruti, is there any further tips for this essay? Probably people are contemplating what should they write. Do you have any further tips
Yes,
for
so
the
we
essay?
can get into the Yes, I can get into the essay questions directly. So the first essay requires you to talk about your post MBA professional goals. So you need to talk about what professional success will look like immediately after your MBA experience. So that means the time span that the school is looking at is just post your MBA. So it's not very long term. So for this essay, you need to be very, very short-sighted and very, very clear as to what you want to do post MBA. Describe where would you like this degree program to take you professionally. So there's always a background that you are coming with in an MBA program. So when you are coming in, let's say with a product management experience, and post MBA you want to probably you will want to continue with product management because you've had technical competence in that. So if that is the career trajectory that you have, it is always good to explore as to what this degree program will actually get you professionally. You already were a product manager, you want to go into a product management thing, but there are some takeaways that you want from this particular program. There must be some particular courses which interest you, or a specialization that really clicks with your industry, your future responsibilities. And you can be as specific in this particular answer. Actually, you can be as specific as mentioning your job responsibilities, the company, the kind of impact you want to create. You have to have a vision for your career, and this is the place where you align that vision for your post MBA goals. So this is half part of the question. The second half of the question is how your professional experiences and personal strengths align with your post MBA goals. So I was a product manager, let's say a technical product manager. I want to become a product manager post MBA as well. So that means I will take up more of the marketing and the product management responsibilities at a team level, at an organization level. Now, moving from A to B, what is it? What are your transferable skills from your previous experiences, which will, be very aligned with your future goals? So, if you are able to, spell it out very precisely, that will be the best. Apart from that, talk about your personal strengths as well. So, look into your, what are the things that help you excel. So, is it that you are a good team manager, you are good with people, or you are good with planning? Let's say you have exceptional planning skills, or getting work done is a strength that you have. So, these are very unique strengths, and everybody, does not embody all of these strengths. So, make sure that you have enough examples to talk about. You see a pattern of excellence in your particular professional experience, and then you are able to relate it to your post MBA goal. So this is as precise as you can be for the first essay for this program. The second essay requires you to talk about your leadership story. So they are looking at, so please tell us which of the Goizueta core values resonates most with you and share a personal account of demonstrating leadership in this area. So go through the leadership values of the school very clearly, first of all, and also mark it again. The same introspection that you have done for the personal strengths for the first essay will also help you here, because out of these values there must be something which will be overbearing in your personal history. So pick out that particular trend and see how you have demonstrated, you which story would you like to talk about. So pick a story, and that story is what the school wants over here. It can be a professional story, it can be a personal story, or it can be something that you have done in volunteering. But professional is the most let's say the professional is the most preferred out of these. However, it is up to you to decide, what pattern you identify, which value you relate with, and then how do you put up the story. So this is a pure storytelling essay. The optional essay is, again, it is about explaining any gaps or anything which is abnormal in your choice of recommendations, or there's anything on the academic front that you need to explain. So use the optional essay only if you have something to explain very clearly, and it is not getting accommodated in any other part of the application. So these are the three essays that you need to put in. Putting up, the essays in 200 words is a challenge. It's not easy to be very precise with your thoughts without proper homework. So you need to have that introspection. You need to have your notes intact, and then I think you'll finally be able to put it into a 200 word limit.
Thank you for the tips.
Yes. So this next section is about the interview calls. The interviews will be on an invitation basis. So once you have submitted your application and it has been reviewed, you will be, if you're selected for an interview, you'll get the schedule over here. That's about it on the application form as such. So please let me know in case you have any questions. I'll be happy to pick them up.
All right. Let me check in here. I see some people here are watching, but they don't put any questions yet. Maybe it's too clear for them, Shruti, or maybe they submitted the application already. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that would be the case. And
Yes,
with the deadlines coming up very close, I think, they would have already started with their homework. So all the best.
I see. Okay. I will ask again, like, do folks here have questions? Um, yeah. In general, like how long should they prepare before the application deadline?
I think the essays and putting across the essays takes the maximum time, because you need to put in a lot of thought process into it. So that would take you at least around 30 to 40 days, depending on where you're working and how much time you get on a daily basis. So plus there are multiple revisions which are required and suggested as well, so that you are able to, clearly communicate. The challenge over here is, twofold. One, the question has too many parts to answer. And it is always good, for an MBA essay that you are able to answer all the parts of the question and put it in a balanced way. Second is that the word limits are very, very low. So you have to be very clear, very precise with your thought process, and that does take time to get into the flow and being very clear that okay, this is why I'm looking at this program, and this is what I'll get from the program, and the thoroughness of the research. So it will take you at least around 30 to 40 days to put up a strong application. Once you do this homework, it can be very well translated to other schools and other programs, because your career goals and your career history remains the same. What you're looking at from the school and which component of the school program will actually, comply and be very helpful for you, and will be important for you as a professional on the professional growth path, will probably change. Again, that research time, you need to connect with people on LinkedIn, you need to connect with alumni, see what if you're looking at the website, you have 10 things to choose from, but if you're talking to people, you know where the actual value lies. So this makes the difference of a good application versus a standard application. So that does take time. At least around 30 to 40 days is recommended.
Yeah, very good point. I really agree. Like connecting with the current students or alumni is a really good insight. And for the GMAT test itself, like how long should they prepare in advance before the test itself?
GMAT is a very personal journey, and it does take people anywhere from 3 months to, let's say, a year to get the score that they are planning to. And for the GMAT test, again, once you have your desired score, is the point that you probably the start taking up the applications. But it can take anywhere from 3 months to 8 months to a year,
All
because it
right.
is all the GMAT is taken up by working professionals. You have work engagements. It's always a good thing to get into school. Going back to school is a nice place to be, but before that, it's a lot of hassle that you have to get into. So according to the time that you get at your workplace to study, your GMAT duration, the test preparation duration will stretch.
Yes, yes. I got another question from the H2 MEM. How good is Goizueta with scholarships? Do you know if there is a good chance with a high GMAT score?
There is a good chance with a high GMAT score. So, in terms of scholarships, assuming that you are good at other places as well, so that means your academic GPA is also a strong point that you have. What happens is that if you are applying with a slightly average or below average GPA, then your GMAT score will actually just square out your having a low GPA. Otherwise, if you have all of these points as strong points, then you are a very good contender with scholarships.
Mhm. And then, would you recommend people apply in round one or wait until they make substantial improvements?
It depends on where you're coming from. So in case you have you have prepared for uh, your application, and you think that you really have your answers top notch, in that case, it is always good to go in for R1. It is always recommended that you should apply for R1, especially for international students. But in case you think that you're not ready and you could get a better GMAT score and a few more ones would really help you, put in that research. You just started with the process a few weeks back and you still don't have the answers top notch, it is always good to take it to R2. If possible, keep it in R1 if you have the requisite things intact. That means your GMAT as well as your homework.
Do you think it's also a better chance for scholarship in round one?
There is. You are amongst the people who have been ready. It is again applying in R1 with a strong application is always a signal that you have been eyeing the school, you have been doing your research, and you are really keen on the program. So if that is a signal that you are sending to the school with a strong application, then you do stand a better chance for scholarship in R1 as well. R1 is again a clean slate, we've just started off with the application process. If I get a strong applicant in R1 and deserves a scholarship, they do get a preference.
Mhm. What are the couple of top things that you think admissions will be looking for in application?
The admissions will be looking at a very strong resume. So your work profile, your work experience has to be really, above average. Uh, you have to put in the hard work on your resume, and then they will also be looking at how well you have researched the program. What are your goals? One, are they achievable from this program? Are you in sync with what the program has to offer? Have you done that research? And if you have done that research, then you can also, how well you have communicated it. Plus, what are your academics and what have you scored on the GMAT? Because these are all very clear signals of how interested you are in the program, how you see the value from this program to your career trajectory. So these are all the things that the school will be looking into.
Hmm. What about the red flags in application that might the admissions can cause dismissal of the application?
Some red flags is, of course, your essays. So if you are using some standard templates or you are using some standard responses, that is something a well-researched essay will jump up from the application and it will shout out that yes, I am the one. Otherwise, a standard essay will not really be very appealing. So that is a definite sign that you've not researched, you've not looked into, and you're not very clear on what the program has to offer and how you will benefit from the program. And why do they look into, your goals is that it is important for every school to have people who are going to take the legacy forward. You need to have something that you want to achieve from the program to be able to outshine in your career later on. So if all of that is in sync, then the program is delivering its value, and it will stand out as a good program for other applicants as well. If you create a wrong history and you are taking up people who are not aligned with what the program has to offer, then it is all going to be a problem for in the long term as well. So this is a major red flag. Research your goals well, be very clear about what you want to do and what the program has to offer. Don't be very, very generic in that particular section of your application.
And any last advice for applicants?
Yes, do spend ample time to connect with people, connect with the alumni as well as current students. You should also connect with the admissions team and spell out your goals, address, see how the school is going to help you, and ask your questions. It is very important to do this research. This is the research which will help your essays stand out as well. So, doing this research and starting early, start at least 30 to 40 days in advance so that you have time for any lags which are caused by your work engagements as well. And I think you will have a strong application. So this is my advice.
Okay. Um, yes, so folks, if you have more questions about Goal ISB, you can schedule a call, visit their website, and connect to Shruti, sorry, uh, and then subscribe to our channel, and then you can join us in the next session. Okay, I think we don't have any more
Okay.
questions from the folks here. Do you have any last advice, Shruti, for the applicants?
So R1 or R2, choose it according to your preparation. And the second part is please do your research well, know exactly what in the school will really fit your needs and how it does that. And I think you will have a strong application to go with. So all the best. And in case you have any questions, we'll be happy to address them. Feel free to reach out to us The contact details are already here at GoLSB, and we'll be happy to do a profile evaluation or help you out with your essays or your interview preparation.
All right. Thank you so much, Shruti, for your time. And I hope everyone is successful in their applications. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.